Okay, welcome to our community connection call. So for the first 15 minutes, we're going to be doing some product testimonies. I switched things up a little bit tonight and it's going to be a surprise. So first of all, I want to welcome anybody new that is hopping on to join our amazing team of Plexus people here. So welcome Liz, welcome Jane. Thanks for hopping on, and anyone else. First, we're going to start with Barb. She's going to tell us a little bit about nerve and how it's been helpful for her. And then we'll transition to Tamara. That's going to tell us a little bit about ease and how it's been helpful for her. And then we'll end with myself talking a little bit about Metaburn and how it's been helpful for me. Take it away, Barb.
Can you hear me? Okay, I'm going to share a little bit about nerve with you. I hadn't tried it till probably a year ago. I was having some major issues with my sciatica and plantar fasciitis and trigger finger. And so I started doing some research. And then my brain kind of clicked and was like, oh, maybe our nerve would help. So I decided to check into that a little bit. And I'm going to share with you a few of the features of the nerve and the key benefits, and then I'll tell you how it's helped me. The features: B vitamins, and they support the healthy nervous system, and it has 6, 7, 9, and 12. Biotin assists in the metabolism of fatty acids and the metabolism of the B vitamins. It has alpha lipoic acid and quercetin, and they are very potent natural antioxidants. The nerve is gluten-free, vegan, dairy-free, non-GMO, and it contains no caffeines. The key benefits: they say it may help reduce occasional nerve discomfort, and it also helps support your healthy nerve cells and the nerve system. I had suffered from plantar fasciitis for a long time and sciatica, and I didn't realize till I started researching about my foot that it has over 200,000 nerve endings in your foot. And it starts out with the sciatica, it goes down your leg, and then it spreads out into 5 main foot nerves, and then all those nerves spread into little nerves and goes down into your toes. And so, it really affects a lot of nerves in your feet. And I had done the water bottle with the frozen ice, and they had put me on medication. I've tried different things, but it always seemed to keep coming back. And so I was reading that and I thought, maybe our nerve would help with that. And then the sciatica, I've always, for years I've had trouble. At one point I had to go do special physical therapy, and then it came back and started bothering me a little. So I knew that I didn't want to get to the point where I was years ago. So I started researching more, and then I noticed that when I was holding onto my coffee cup, I was some morning having a hard time to hang on to it. It was like it would almost drop out of my hand. And then I had fingers that started freezing up on me. I would bend them down and then I couldn't get them out, and I'd have to pull them back. And I didn't really know what that was. And then somebody said, oh, you got trigger finger. You're going to have surgery to get that corrected. So I started researching it, and it was telling about all the tendons and how they get inflamed, and then the nerves are pinched. And so I, decided I was going to try the nerve. I had been on ease and I absolutely loved it. But I thought, well, the nerve is very complimentary of the ease, so maybe I'll try that. And I started, it said to do a loading dose of 6, but I did 4. I did 2 in the morning and 2 at night. And all of a sudden, I noticed that my hands weren't going numb, and I was actually able to bend my fingers back. And so I read about it and I thought, well, maybe it's better, so I don't need to take it. But it says you really, once you've got that so that it's working for you, the main thing is to be consistent. And so I have continued. It's probably been maybe 9 or 12 months. I'd look back on my orders to see actually but I couldn't find it. But I take one every morning and one at night. And it said, if you do start having issues with it, to increase it a little bit. But I have no problems with it now. I mean, I was mudding and sanding drywall this weekend, and I was climbing step ladder up and down, and I thought, oh, my foot and my sciatica are really going to bother me. When I came home, I felt pretty lame, but I took my nerve and I took my ease, and amazing. The next morning I was fine. So I swear by it. They really work very well together. They're
That's
awesome.
amazing, Barb. I didn't know you could do a loading dose of nerve. I knew that about
Yeah.
Eve, but I didn't know that about nerve. So that's really helpful information.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a graphic that showed loading of nerve and ease,
That's
and
great.
it showed six for each. But I
Wow.
tried the 4. I thought, well, I'll try 4, and if it doesn't work, I'll increase it. But it
Sure.
did, and I have, knock on wood, no problems with that at all right now. So it
That's
definitely worked.
amazing. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
All right, Tamara and Ease.
Okay, so I was a chronic pain sufferer. I'm trying to make this fast because I want you to be able to talk about Metaburn, but it's hard to make it fast because it's kind of a big deal. But I was a chronic pain sufferer, chronic back pain, had surgery in my early 20s. I'm 49 now, and for my entire adult life, and really my teenage life from about 15 when I fell off a horse. That's what hurt my back initially at 15 years old. So essentially from 15 throughout, I have had severe back pain, had every modality, every type of pain medicine, every type of injection, every type of treatment, physiotherapy, like you name it, I've done it. And surgery again in my early 20s, and was still in an insane amount of pain every single day. And my back would go out on me. It's a disc thing for me. So I have a blown disc and damage to the nerves because of that. And it would go out on me probably 5-6 times a year. And when it would happen, I would have to take usually 2 full courses of steroids, which is terrible for your gut and wreaks havoc on your entire body. And I would have to take 2 full courses, and I would be out for close to a month at a time. So if you think about the fact that I'm out for a month, it's going out 5 to 6 times a year on average, sometimes more, that puts me completely debilitated for half the year, best case scenario. So the story that I just kind of want to tell right now, like, I don't suffer from chronic pain at all anymore. Like, generally 0 pain. I also had carpal tunnel, and I also had TMJ that were, again, pretty debilitating for me. And I had to wear a brace all the time. I couldn't put mascara on. I couldn't hold the steering wheel without my fingers going numb and being painful. I have none of that anymore. What I want to focus on is what happened to me on, what is today, Tuesday? So Sunday night, or Sunday morning, I was on the toilet because I'm not constipated anymore. So that was a good thing, right? But I'm on the toilet and I literally leaned forward. I'm talking about sitting straight, leaning forward about this much. And I knew, I was like, oh, Lord have mercy, because that all too familiar zing happened. And I thought, uh-oh, this hasn't happened to me in 3 years. Why? Because I take Ease every single day. 0 issues in 3 years. Suddenly, Sunday morning, here it was again. And I was like, okay, this is not a good thing. Couldn't walk. If this is straight and your body's straight, I was like this, tipped over, could not stand straight. But I was also in the shape of an S. So my right hip was literally 3 inches higher than my left hip. And I could not walk. I couldn't bend my chin to my chest. I couldn't outstretch my arms. I couldn't flex my toes. None of it. I was in bed all day Sunday. And I normally am a person that takes between 5 and 6 E's every single day. And that keeps me out of pain, and I can do all the things. I took 12 E's on Sunday, and I took 2 nerve, and I was back to my runs less than 24 hours later. I ran yesterday and I ran today. I wouldn't be able to sit in this car because I literally could not. And when this happens, I cannot sit up straight. I must be propped up with my feet propped up and at an angle. So to say that this stuff works is like beyond legitimate. If you are in pain of any kind, if you have inflammation of any kind, you need to be on this, and do not hesitate to recommend this. The only people on the planet that won't benefit and shouldn't be taking ease are those that have a legitimate allergy to shellfish. That's it. Everyone will benefit from ease because everyone is walking around in a mildly chronic state of inflammation, if not more. But that mild level of inflammation, if they're not addressing it, inflammation is a silent killer. Ease will absolutely address it. And as far as the nerve, my mom has the same experience as Barb. She had trigger finger. She had what was mimicked diabetic neuropathy, but it was induced by the chemotherapy she had to have because of cancer. I put her on ease, put her on nerve, and all of that stuff is gone for her as well. Same with my sciatica. Generally, no problem. And I was a person that suffered with sciatica on a daily basis for my entire adult life. And it's, again, gone.
That is so inspiring, Tamara. And again, I'm not going to be afraid to pop a few more capsules if needed. Because
Yes.
clearly it works.
Clearly
Wow.
it works.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
All right, real quick, I'm going to give you an overview of MetaBurn. MetaBurn is my favorite product, which is really hard to say because there's so many. I just love them all. But MetaBurn, I really rely on for a number of reasons. Just, busy mom going in a million different directions with a million different jobs and all the things. And sometimes in the afternoon, you hit the wall and you're really tired, or you feel brain dead and you can't think anymore and you're not thinking clearly. You've got brain fog, and then you're frustrated and sort of your mood gets affected. And this supplement supports all of that. So it not only is clinically demonstrated to help with weight loss and burn fat around the belly, the hips, the thighs, but it also supports a better mood. It supports productivity and clear-headedness. Some of the key ingredients in it are grains of paradise, also known as the guinea pepper. It's sort of related to the ginger family, and it revs up your metabolism. There's also things like L-theanine and green tea leaf extract. These are very calming to the body. So you're not experiencing a typical caffeine rush or crash that you would experience, say, with a cup of coffee or other caffeinated beverages. This is a natural, easy caffeine, and it's counteracted with some of those other great ingredients like L-theanine that's very calming to the body. It also has something called rhodiola rosea, which is an adaptogen and supports mood. It has something called 5-HTP, which you cannot get from food, and it raises your serotonin. Your serotonin is your happy hormone. And when we improve our serotonin, then obviously you're happier, in a better mood, but boosting your serotonin also boosts your melatonin production. So you may experience better sleep, less anxiety, less stress. And the last ingredient that I love in there, for short, it's called NALT. It's N-acetyl L-tyrosine, which basically is an amino acid that boosts cognition. So again, that's what I love about it, is it makes me feel more productive, more clear-headed, gives me a little bit of boost of energy, but I also know it's helping burn fat while it's doing all of that. So that's why it has become my absolute favorite. So that is it for our product testimonies. Thank you so much, everybody, Barb and Tamara, for sharing yours with us. And I will turn it back over to Whitney.
That was amazing. Thank you, ladies. Oh my goodness, your stories, Tamara and Barb. Everyone on the planet needs to hear those testimonies. That's so powerful. I love that for both of you so, so much. Okay, I'm really excited about tonight. So if you've been joining us for at least a few weeks now. I wasn't here last week because I was up at Brooke Hemingway's Six Figure Summit, and that was amazing. And I may be offering some extra training based off of that. But for tonight, we are going to be introducing our training for Plus One, the Plexus Plus One system. Now, this is something that Plexus rallied and just took a handful of the top leaders in the whole entire company that are most excellent at leadership development team-wide, like all the way across the board, consistent rank ups and all of that. And they developed this really simple, streamlined system that anyone can follow, and it's called Plexus Plus One. So for those of you that earned Rising Leaders, the cruise to the Bahamas, you were presented this program there on the ship, and you can actually find pieces of it in our Plexus Go app if you didn't know. But I wanted to just across the board, like, help everyone really buy in on this and get really excited about it. So this is something that we're going to be consistently training and practicing until we're all masters of this Plus One system. And what I want to do first of all, before we jump into like the pieces of it, is I want to really introduce it to you, all of you, the same way it was to us that were on the cruise ship, because I know not all of you were there. And it was presented by Amber Miller, and she did such a fantastic job just getting us like so revved up about it. And so I'm just going to play that video for you. So it will be a review for those of you that are familiar with the system, and it will be new for some of you. But either way, I want you to really hear it straight from her mouth, the results that she's had since utilizing it. And then after we really get the gist of what this system is about and how it works, then in our weekly sessions moving forward, we'll be doing little bits and pieces of work with me's here, hands-on, utilizing that training and actually like doing the steps, doing the messages, things like that. So we can become masters of this system. And what will happen if we do so is just magical. And I want you to listen specifically for Amber's personal results with using this, and ask yourself if that's not something that you would be absolutely ecstatic to have for yourself and your business and your bank account. Even if you just consider right now with the team that you have today, with the active people ordering on your team, if every single one of those had a Plus One, how quickly that would double your business, double your income, and just help so many more people, right? We can reach and touch and help so many more. And there's just so much more potential. And this is such a simple, like, no pressure kind of system. It's just really kind of foolproof. And I hate to say foolproof because you still have to get in and actually do the steps. But the messages are really like something anyone should be comfortable using, and whether you're like brand new or whether you've been here a while. And so it's just amazing, amazing. And I'm going to go ahead and play it for you. This video is 15 minutes long. So please, just bear with me and dig in, listen along, and even take some notes if you're somewhere that you can do that. And then we will just go over a couple things afterwards, okay? So give me just a second here to share my screen and get that started. And then Tamara, I'm gonna look at you. Will you just let me know that you can hear clearly once I hit play? Just give me a thumbs up that you can see and hear clearly, okay? All right, so I'm going to share right here. And I've got this open already. I'm gonna close all the extra bubbles, hang on. All right, here we go. Oops, I had it on full screen. Let me do it again. These those thought bubbles too. Yeah, but here's the thing, friends. I want to challenge you with this. Could the thought of I've tried and they don't want to be preventing you from actually making it work? Right? Yes, we're all like, conviction. Because often, every so often in our business, we're gonna find ourselves doing this. I still do, where we are using a past experience to tell us what can happen in the future. So we're gonna make a commitment to let that go, and you are gonna become that business builder and excel at it. And it's gonna become your top skill because you intentionally had to learn how to do that thing, right? So that's what I did. Can we get a raise of hand? Are we committing, letting old thoughts go? Yes? Okay, awesome. So we're all in. So let's look at how to do this, how to work with people and build. It looks like knowing that anyone that comes to Plexus is going to fall into two different buckets. All right. Bucket one is our product people. We love them. Most of us were them. Just to get a perspective here, by a raise of hands, who came to Plexus just to be a product person? Okay, look around. Almost everybody. Same here, right? Number two, our second bucket is product and business people. These are people who might come for both, or they tell us they just want products, but they secretly want the income, right? That's our favorite bucket. We'll talk about that in a second. But let's talk about what to do with the product people, the people who come just as customers and use Plus One effectively. All right, so for product people, you are going to teach them, you're going to use Plus One with them, write down that word, I'm using it with them. And the business people, we are teaching it and showing it to them. So we're using the same strategy in two different ways. So for the product person, what that looks like, every single customer that I get, I have a practice, once again, are you selling or are you building, of asking them, hey, I'm so excited for your products to come on their way. You know, while you wait, I just want to ask, are you interested in the income side of Plexus at all? Just so I can serve you best. This is a very hands-off question. It's like, hey, in the future, is this something? You know, and often it leads to beautiful, powerful, wonderful conversations. I get the timid yeses, but I don't know if I'll be good at it, or the maybes. And with those timid responses, even if they're shy, I know that this person is in bucket two. They're not just a customer, right? And the important thing here, friends, write it on those notes, like Jory said, is ask. You have to ask every single person, and you have to re-ask because people's beliefs, people's ability levels change, right? So raise the hand again. Who has to be asked more than once if they would share Plexus with people who are interested, right? Everyone's like 27 times, 2.5 years, like everybody has that story here. So that just reminds you, never take their current answer as their forever answer, right? Because you've limited their potential and capped that off. So this is a sample message I sent. Now on the flip side, if they say, no, you know, I just want to be a customer, totally fine. We've actually teed ourselves up really well to use the Plus One on them next very effectively with them, right? So I sent a message back that looks something like, hey, totally fine, really excited for you to experience the good results. And you know, we actually have an incredible referral program where you have a link right now and your friends or family can use these products with you. And it's actually what most of my customers do because you know, I'm just more, you get better results with an accountability partner. Do you want me to send you some info on how to make a cart? And then Brooke's line, I don't know, it might be fun, right? And I often send this in a voice message. They can hear the ease and relaxation of my voice. And almost always, it's a yeah, send me how to make a cart. And that's often, and when you're re-asking, this is often going to lead to them grabbing a mom, grabbing a friend, because they're not feeling that pressure, they're in their comfortable space.
And it lends itself really well to the soft launch of, hey, guess what, 2 more people, and you're actually gonna earn X amount of money. Can you think of just 2 more? I don't know, for me, it was my mom, my sister, and we often see people that make 1 referral, they break that hesitancy, that unknown of how to make a cart, and it's easy for them to move on to 2 more. And then, hey, I know you said you just wanted to be a customer for now, but you're already earning quite a lot. So let me just show you what it looks like to do a little more, right? And we can slowly soft launch them into that build. And because you've done the plus one with them and you told them about the referral program, it's easy to say, you know, your mom that ordered from you, does she have a friend who might be interested in the products of her? Because she has that link as well, and you can help her make a cart. And then we help them move from silver to senior silver and have that strategy of building versus just customer gathering, right? So that's what we do with our product people and how we can move them in there. And I want to just remind you, make this your #1 skill. If you could focus on anything, really sharpen this up and you're gonna start seeing results with your new thoughts around it, right? Okay, so moving on to bucket 2, my absolute favorite bucket. This is that pot of gold. This is our product people. Our business people, our people that are product and business, my favorite to work with. Now, in case that thought bubble is popping up again, and you're like, Amber, I don't have anybody that wants to build this. Sounds nice, but I don't have anyone, right? We're gonna talk about really quickly how to attract people to build the business. Do you know how you do it? You talk about it, right? So simple, we overcomplicate it. You talk about it all the time. In fact, one thing I have my team do, they're up there, is I tell them, I want you to take at the end of every month, I wanna know how many business posts they made. I want them to go through their story archives and tell me how many times they talked about the business, because we need a log to make sure we are actually really talking about it and not just defaulting to our more familiar zone of products, right? And then the second piece is having a lot of confidence and energy when you're talking about the business, right? I heard it said recently that confidence is a sound. We can't play it on a soundtrack, but we know it when we hear it. It's an energy, it's a vibration, right? And on the flip side, we know it when we don't hear it. We can't quite pinpoint, but we know. So if you are struggling with having energy and confidence in your business, being able to attract business builders because maybe you aren't quite sure what to do with them. Have you ever had that feeling where someone goes, hey, can you tell me like how I can earn money in Plexus? Or I want to start with you, and you're like, deer in the headlights, oh my gosh, what do I do? Right? They said yes. And it's that fear of that feeling or knowing that we're not quite sure that can prevent us from having the energy we need to pass on. So this is where you can use plus one. This is where I use plus one, that visual of the build to help me know that anybody that came in, anyone that said yes to me, I didn't have to cross my fingers and hope it worked out for them. I knew what they could intentionally create because it wasn't based on their audience size. It wasn't based on how many people they knew or influential they were, but the power of the build and the plus one. They could be that scared 23-year-old and their mom could go diamond in 11 months because of our business model, right? You always have that. In fact, just a very vulnerable moment. Been in business Plexus 12 years, right? And diamond for like 8 or 9 of those. A couple years ago, it had been a full year since I had any level 1 gold or up rank up business builders. And I was personally feeling like quite bad about myself with that. Like, do I even know what I'm doing anymore? And it was grasping the love of network marketing and the power of this business model and that renewed vision of the build that helped me go back into it with all excitement. And last year, here's the good note, last year, using this same strategy, I had 10 level 1 gold or above rank ups. And 8 of them are here today with us, who started their business last year. Thank you, it's amazing, we have such a good time. But that is to show that at any point, you can come back to this and use it as your guiding light, right? So how to start business builders? You're like, Amber, great, tell me how that can happen, right? You're gonna use this simple acronym called VBS. If you're on my team, you're chuckling, because you know how much I love a good acronym, and I'm gonna fit anything into one. So here you go, easy to remember. First one is vision. This is that example of the plus one, the build, showing it to them and teaching it to them. My girls, my team up there, they'll tell you, I did not tell them, hey, look, you can refer 17 people. You've all seen that graphic around, right? After they got to that 3 or so place and they were kind of in it with me, we got on a Zoom. I have an ugly, ugly PowerPoint, and I show them an example of what can happen in network marketing. I put this vision, this GPS, this roadmap in front of them so that they know what's possible. That's the first, the vision. Make sure they know what they are trying to create so they don't end up going, man, I'm out of people. They know what the possibility is. Second, B, belief. Vision is knowing where you're going. Belief is knowing that you can achieve it, right? And belief is something that has to be refueled constantly. It's not just once, it's over and over and over and over again. I got belief from some of you walking up to me today saying, thank you for your training. That fueled me with belief to be here right now. So it's a constant thing. So that belief is gonna look like chats, connections, Zooms, Diamond Docs, any way that you can get them in a space of other people. It can be coffee, it can be meeting up, whatever it is, make sure they're connected to others and being fueled with that belief of what's possible. I often, just as an example, friends, when I ask myself, are you selling or are you building? Sometimes I wake up in the morning, like, what are we gonna do for work today? Because I'm not a very organized person. And I'll grab my phone and I will just start voice messaging my girls. I'll start voice messaging my builders. And I'll just say, I want to remind you what I see in you, what's possible for you. And can you tell me again your dream and why you're doing this? Because that's that belief fueling, right? That I always want you to come back to if you're uncertain of what to do or to help somebody with. And so the next is S, that's our skill development. Now, you'll see that skill development is last in the VBS because often we think, hey, if I just, gosh, friends, if there was better training or I had better systems or maybe a cuter IPA sheet, right, then they would do the thing. But that is never the case because just believing that they can and knowing why they are that causes them to do the thing, right? So always go to those first two, come back to skills. And this is gonna look like plugging them into your own training, your own video recordings, someone else's IPA sheet, don't take the time making them. And we have an awesome place to get started. If you're like, Amber, I'm not even sure what the skills are. The basic ones, the needed ones are right there in the Go app. If you haven't started watching those, please do. It's fabulous. And you're gonna pull people back to this. I'll often look at my girls' business and just look at the sticking point and go, awesome, don't let me tell them this all the time. Guess what? Just with a little skill development right there, you're gonna hit into the next space. And so we're very unemotional about this and just into actions and trainings, right? So you're gonna do this VBS over and over and over again, friends. Don't go try to find the next shiny thing. We're all like Dory, right? Like, what's the shiny thing? What's the shiny thing? Nope, you're gonna always come back here to the VBS, vision, belief, and then system and training.
Preach.
So to recap this, the plus one is the power of our business, all right? Whether you're using it with a customer, you're using it to give yourself clarity and confidence, or you are showing and teaching it to your new gals who want to learn, is where you come back to. There are no secrets. There's nothing hidden. You are fully capable if I can pour that belief back to you, when my mom went diamond in 11 months, it took me a little over 3 years, right? She had all the skills and all the belief and a lot of great connections. I had zero, worse than zero probably. It was a climb. But because of the power of this model, because you can build beyond yourself, I was able to reach that point, and you can too. So if I can just encourage you to hold the vision with gratitude for where you are going, and we'll see you at convention, right?
Awesome. Okay. All right. So, how was it? Are you guys excited? Okay, so are you selling or are you building? At any point, you can shift gears. Do you realize that? Who it has that desire from changing your focus to selling to building? Anyone? Do you realize what that does to a business when you shift that focus from selling to building? Awesome, Carol. Love it. Okay. Who's committed to no longer allowing past experiences to define our efforts and success? Did anyone feel convicted by that when she's like, are you allowing past experiences to make you believe that no more, right? That's a choice we get to make. And what evidence do we have that this system works? What evidence do we have that this works? You guys can talk. Anyone? Let me open the chat back up. She developed 10 level 1 goals.
You, Jen, Carol, Megan, all the people that have done it, evidence all around us.
I love it. Yes. And now we have a more simplified, streamlined system that I feel is just a lot more organized and something just more fabulous. So, yes. So Amber, was she a natural at this business? Did you hear? No, her mom was. Her mom ranked diamond in 11 months underneath her. So that definitely helped. But it took her, even having a diamond underneath her, it took her 3 years to get to the point where she could like really grow herself. And that was like really a lot of effort on her part. And now since she's utilized this system, she said she had gone a full year without personally like helping anyone rank gold or higher. And now in 1 year's time, she helped 10 different people rank gold or higher. 8 of them were on that cruise ship, brand new, like new that year. And they earned leaders retreat. Once someone earns leaders retreat, that's a big deal, right? Those are usually lifers at that point. So that's pretty exciting. So that we have evidence that this works. Okay, no matter, even if you feel stuck like Amber did, if you're willing to just trust the process and go to work, then this will work. So, we've got 5 minutes left. Some of the highlights were ask everyone. And it doesn't have to be an uncomfortable, awkward question, right? Just make it so chill and casual. So is there any chance you might be interested in Plexus as a business? So I can serve you best, right? Always make it about them and so you can serve them best. That's true. If they do have that interest, then you're doing them a disservice by not asking them, first of all, because they may not ask you. And not supporting them in that. So, anyways, how do we attract business builders? Did you catch what she said there? How do we attract business builders? Megan knows.
I was going to say by casting vision.
Yes. You have to put it out there. Talk about the business all the time. We talk about it all the time. We post about it consistently. We bring it up in conversations. We just make it part of our flow. You know what I mean? We're always talking about it, and that will attract people that are interested in it. Okay, so the basics are, we're just going to start commitment right now. Moving forward, every single person that joins your team gets invited to consider if they may be interested in this business opportunity as well as the products, so you can serve them best. And then we have literally messages that tell you word for word what to say every step of the way. Okay, I actually got a board from Amber's mom, Lori. So this is Amber's board that she developed with this system that she's having so much success with. I have the whole board that they're using for that. So I'll be introducing that to you guys because we love resources and tools that make it so easy. And we are going to be now inviting every single person. And then we have two buckets. Bucket one, products only. So we do the Plexus Plus One with them. Bucket two, they're interested in products and a business or any level of interest in earning income. And we're going to teach them Plus One. So we do Plus One with them, or we teach them Plus One based on which two buckets they fit into. And we have all the whole message flow all the way through, and it's pretty foolproof. So that's kind of what the Plexus Plus One is about. Do you guys have any questions?
I think I missed before when I listened to her on the ship. I think I missed the aspect of if they're a product user, then you do Plus One with them.
Yes.
I was just like, okay, I can ask them the question and then I'll keep revisiting it, but you still are going to try to get them a Plus One by having a buddy, accountability partner, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't realize
Right.
that you're introducing them to a business. They don't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just basically soft stepping with them. And then if they bite on that, then you can gently do another step with them if they're open, you know, always letting them be in control, of course, but we're lovingly helping them take a step that they benefit from.
I like it. And I'll be, sorry, I'll be interested to see the transition, the verbiage, because it almost like, you know, like my fear story or whatever kicking in, like, I just told you I don't want the business, like, you know. So I want to see like what that transition looks like. If you're not opening, but if you're kind of leading with that question, just so I know how to help you best.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very fair question. Like it's not salesy. Like it would be silly of me to think that anybody coming to this for the products doesn't know that there's an opportunity available. And so it's not up to me to assume that they want it or not. Like, hey, while we're talking about it, are you interested in the business aspect, you know?
And even if they did know there was a business opportunity and they did have some interest, a lot of people won't straight up ask you because so many people might assume, oh, she must not think I'd be good at the business, or she would ask me to do it with her.
Yes.
So then they talk themselves out of it because you didn't invite them.
Right. Yes.
And that's really sad.
Mm-hmm. Yes. In fact, I know of a Jewel who was doing training when Jen and Carol and I went, and she said her sponsor didn't ask her, and she assumed that she thought she wouldn't be good at it. And ooh, that was convicting to me. I don't want anybody to think that I would think that they wouldn't be good, you know, like convicting. Yeah. So I think that question is great, and I love like just taking the emotion out of it, like just so I can help you best. But I want to see the transition. If I'm saying that question and then like, oh, okay, you don't want a business. Okay, let's get you a friend. Like it makes just as simple as that. But yeah,
100%.
yeah.
You can use your own wording, but they do have suggested wording that's very effective. So Kate had a question, should there actually be 3 buckets? Kate, what would you mean 3 buckets? I'm curious.
Well, I had a little bit of an issue with it when I was listening to it again with her saying, you know, well, do you want the business? No, you don't. Okay, well, here I'm gonna sneak this on you. And then so the reason why I'm saying a third bucket is like if you're like, can we you know, share with one friend and they don't want any interest, like should there be another bucket for just product user?
No, because what did she say? Never take their current answer as their forever answer.
Correct.
Because even if they say, no, I'm not interested in that, you're like, okay, that's totally fine. I'm so excited for you to experience these products. And it happens all the time. As you experience benefits, your friends, your family are going to start to notice. Sometimes they even start asking you. But either way, you're going to realize that you have something here that they could benefit them. And it's statistically proven that you get better results if you have even just one accountability buddy to do this with you. It's kind of like getting a gym membership, you know? How much more success do you have if you have a friend going with you and keeping you accountable? It's kind of the same concept. So who would be your plus one? You know, like who would be your, you know, who's your ride or die, your best friend, your mom, your sister, whatever. So that they're still in bucket 1, whether or not they take the bite on that, they stay in bucket 1 until, you know, maybe they're still like, no, absolutely not. I'm not going to tell anyone. This is top secret. It's very rare that people are like that, but let's say they were, Kate, then you keep them in bucket 1 until they start having results. And then you never want to assume that that's still their answer because they may have softened on that a little bit. So we keep asking and re-asking and re-asking, like she said. So there's always just bucket 1, bucket 2. As soon as they express any interest whatsoever in maybe bucket 2, you know, so until then, you're just baby stepping them as far as they're willing to go. Even if they're not ready even to invite someone to be an accountability partner yet, then you still want to keep them in that bucket and keep loving on them. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Well, we're over time, but I'm really excited to do more with this. If you guys would like the board before our next session, then I will share that. And I will share that replay of Amber's presentation also with the recording of this in Wellness Warriors. And then just let me know if you have any questions before that, but we're gonna like start really diving in and practicing this together and it'll be awesome, okay? All right, you guys are awesome. Have a great night. Love ya. Bye-bye.